I got bad news. We gotta go. We gotta leave California now. Let's go.
What are you talking about? Sit down, it's okay. Why are you shaking so much?
Shaking? That's exactly the problem. We're living in a death trap, Kayleen. Well, specifically, we're living on a fault line. And the line that's at fault is the San Andreas.
Oh, I understand. You're afraid of earthquakes.
Yes.
I can totally understand though, because earthquakes can cause a lot of catastrophes, a literal earth-shattering force that can destroy buildings, reform landscapes, cause fires, avalanches, tsunamis, which brings us to our topic for today, which is seismology, or the study of earthquakes.
What?
How much do you know about earthquakes, Michelle?
Too much. Let's go.
Perfect! Then you can sit down, because today we're going to be talking about seismic activity.
And then after we talk about it, then can we leave California, please?
The Earth as a whole is more than just one solid piece of dirt. It actually has 4 main layers: a solid inner core, a liquid outer core, the mantle, and the crust. And earthquakes specifically occur on the 2 upper layers, which are divided into separate pieces called tectonic plates, which form the surface of the Earth, kind of like a jigsaw puzzle.
Unlike your normal jigsaw puzzle, tectonic plates do not stay still. They are constantly shifting around very slowly. And because their edges are so rough, some parts of the plate get stuck while the rest of the piece keeps moving. The movement of the plates causes a lot of stress on the Earth's surface, which form notable cracks called fault lines. These are generally where earthquakes happen.
And at these fault lines, pressure starts to build and build until the plates break loose, slipping past one another. It releases all that pent-up energy, which causes an earthquake.
Earthquakes are measured by its magnitude, or size, which is recorded as a seismogram on an instrument called a seismograph. Careful not to confuse the two.
The seismograph has what looks like a pendulum. A heavy weight with a pen is attached to a wire or spring with a base that is fixed to the ground. And when the earth shakes, this base will move, but the weight will remain motionless, allowing for the pen to record the difference in position between the weight and the base. And this produces a continuous line of peaks that indicate the magnitude.
Oh, so the larger the spikes in that line, the higher the magnitude.
Exactly. And the strength and timing of an earthquake can vary. For example, Southern California experiences 10,000 earthquakes annually. And yet, in Southern California or anywhere else where earthquakes frequently occur, most earthquakes occur when we don't even realize it. There could be even an earthquake happening right now.
Wait a minute. How can we know the location of where an earthquake is coming from?
Not to fear, Michelle. Scientists use a technique called triangulation to figure this out. One individual seismograph has a range that encircles itself in a circle. So an earthquake that occurs within that seismograph's range will be detected and recorded for scientists to see. Triangulation requires 3 seismographs to allow for an earthquake to be pinpointed to its exact origin point, or the epicenter. The intersection at which the seismographs detect an earthquake determines this estimated epicenter of the earthquake.
Whew, thank goodness for technology. I was thinking about some of the most disastrous earthquakes in history, such as the one in San Francisco in 1906.
You're right, Michelle. And earthquakes are such powerful forces of nature with a lot of documentation to prove its impact on entire landscapes and cities. But actually, when I think about earthquakes, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that an earthquake's power is still limited to the bounds of the earth. And even then, we know who is more powerful, mightier, and more present than earthquakes: God. Why don't you read Psalm 46, verses 2-3 for us?
Sure. Psalm 46, verses 2-3 says, "Therefore we will not fear though the earth should change, and though the mountains slip into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains quake at its swelling pride." Selah. So even in something as devastating as an earthquake, we can consider God as our very present refuge. And when you think about it, God is the one that has created earthquakes as well and has even caused earthquakes in Scripture to demonstrate His own might. So earthquakes really are just a small fraction of God's infinite power. Thank you for that amazing verse, Kayleen.
Of course, anytime, Michelle. Well, that's almost all the time we have for today, but we hope that when you think about the immense power of earthquakes, that God is infinitely more powerful over them, even showing us His strength in them. Or, yes, Michelle, that creation is cool, but our Creator is even cooler. We'll see you next time.
Check out our other Creation is Cool videos.